oh, the Airbnb bus, oh, saturation, oh, I'm not getting any bookings. I hear that a lot, but instead of just sitting back, I really wanted to do something. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about how you can improve your listing with hard data. I teamed up with Intellihost, who's all things data Airbnb, and I have some amazing stuff to share with you guys. Stay tuned. Now for me, I'm all about data. I'm trying to find out ways I can stand out, be on the first page, get more impressions, get more bookings, better guest experience, all that stuff. Always trying to learn because it is getting more competitive and you've got to find ways to stand out. So my buddy Jeff over at Intellihost has been super cool to be sitting down with me and going over stats. Intellihost is all about Airbnb data and information. They plug straight into your listing, and as you move things and change things, Intellihost will tell you exactly on impressions and all that stuff. I'll let them dive into that part of it. You guys can go check out their website. I'll put a link below, but I've been using it on my properties and I decided, why don't we do an Instagram live and dive into some topics, find out some stuff that I'm struggling with, maybe some other hosts. Every Thursday, 12 Eastern time, we jump in for about 30, 40 minutes of a new topic. I wanna go over today the top 3 ones that we did that really made me adjust some of my settings and whatnot. Okay, in Airbnb, this is all Airbnb. Logo on your profile versus no logo, more of like a face. Number 2, instant book on or instant book off. Number 3, your response rate and response time. So to give you guys an idea, on your profile picture, you can see either a face of the host or a logo. So that's what we were trying to dive into. I've been doing some A/B testing myself. So my personal account, that where my ambassador stuff is, one of my listings is on there, is my face with a little bit of a logo. So it maybe looks professional. Also, people can relate to my face and see me and they're like, okay, it's a human behind this. It's not a big company. Now with that, my other Airbnb profile, which is more of my business, it's all of my management, co-hosting stuff. I have a team of guest communications with AngelHost. That one, I wanted to make it more business. That's what I thought. So I put a business logo in that profile with Hilly Homes. After this research, I'm probably gonna take off that logo and add my face to that as well. So let's kind of dive into some stats and then I'll tell you my personal feeling on some of this stuff. So on this, we, Intellihost, gathered a bunch of information, over 1,000 listings, logo versus no logo. And the conversion rate didn't really change anything. So it was about a 1.2% regardless if you had a logo or no logo. So not a big difference there. My thought behind that is most people, when they're scrolling and booking, they're not really looking at the host yet. They're just looking at the pictures and the title, reading all that stuff. There's no interaction with the host yet, so they don't really care at that point. So the conversion didn't really change anything there. But however, the review score is where a logo versus no logo really hurts. So if you have a logo, your review score average is 4.24. If you don't have a logo and it's just like a face or whatnot, the average score is 4.39. First of all, that's really low, so a lot of hosts need to step up. I have heard that quite a bit, that reviews are really low anyways, but that's a huge difference, 4.39 versus a 4.24. So in doing this, we and the data think that the reason why the scores are lower with a logo is personalization. Now they booked your place, they've been having some guest communication, they don't see a human, there's no personal touch there. Maybe your guest communication is very robotic or automatic, so that's gonna play a huge role in the reviews, but it does hurt your reviews. So having a logo could hurt your review, especially if your messaging is very robotic. Now, I have always been a big brand guy. I love telling a brand story, but as you can see, more and more companies have a face behind the brand. People want to feel that connection. So I think that's what's really happening with Airbnb. It's come full circle. It used to only be like a personal face and it had that human connection. With Airbnb getting so big, there's more and more companies involved, logos, whatnot. It still needs to be definitely professional. I think that will definitely help you. But I think having a face after all this data is the way to go. I think it brings a personal touch. Also, really strongly feel that if a guest is gonna leave you a poor review, and they already know that, if you're a person behind that profile, they might just reach out to you privately and say, hey, I'm not gonna leave you a review, but here's a couple of my feedback and suggestions. I don't wanna hurt a small company like you or a business or whatnot, which I have seen. But if you're just a logo, they're not gonna care as much. They're gonna be like, greedy business. Some guests might think that, right? They won't care and they'll leave a negative review. What do you guys think? Comment below because I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. Instant Book. Airbnb pushes this like crazy. You always hear them talking Instant Book, Instant Book, Instant Book. I'm a huge fan of Instant Book too. People want to book, right? You know, they're on the go, they're on their phone, they're looking for multiple places at once. So Instant Book off or Instant Book on? Let's dive into that data. So just having your Instant Book on, and of course all the other things that go into play, but having Instant Book turned on, 20% more bookings on Airbnb. And did you know that 60% of bookings on Airbnb are made right on the spot, like that quick, 60%. And that's because Instant Book. Now, just in case you're new and you don't know what Instant Book is, it basically takes away the friction between the host, the guest, the booking experience, all that. So you turn a little toggle on Instant Book, a guest can look at your pricing, your photos, and just book it without having to go back and forth to the guest. So super fast, very low entry level, no barriers, and boom, straight booking, which everyone loves. Now in the data, Airbnb does boost listings that use Instant Book. So another reason to do it. The algorithm will reward you for using Instant Book. Now please, don't forget, there's a couple of settings you really wanna make sure you have on when you're doing Instant Book. Number one, make sure that they are a verified guest. You want to make sure they have a good review history. I like that one. You also wanna make sure they have a photo. I like that one as well. You do wanna make sure that you turn off pre-messaging. So make sure you don't have any pre-messaging because that is another friction point. Guests don't like it, so turn that part off. Also, a disclaimer on Instant Book, I get this question all the time when I'm teaching new students, is if you have Instant Book turned on and you get a guest that books your place and for some reason you feel extremely uncomfortable about them, maybe they're about to have a party or they're bringing extra guests, you just feel after you talk to them it's not the right fit, call Airbnb right away and let them know, hey, I have Instant Book turned on, I have all these settings turned on, but it sounds like this guest is gonna have a party, which violates my house rules. Airbnb will have to cancel that reservation for you and open up their calendar, no harm, no foul. And I think by 2025, Airbnb is gonna have all guests be 100% verified. So right now, guests are some verified, some aren't, but they're going through that process, so stay tuned. All guests will be verified, which will definitely help you in your Instant Book. So question, are you gonna use Instant Book or not use Instant Book? I'm really curious. Comment below, let me know. Okay, this is another very important one. You hear Airbnb talk about this all the time, responding quickly to your guests. So critical role in response rates and time. So in this report, Intellihost analyzed over 5,000 properties to really get a good data research. So we're going off 5,000 properties here. So response rate is how quickly you respond and consistently reply to booking inquiries within that 24-hour window. So I'm gonna read this real quick just to make sure I don't mess up, but Intellihost broke it down in 3 categories of host response rate. So there's a perfect 100 response rate, there is a near perfect, which is 90 to 99%, and then there's unperforming for anywhere from 0 to 89%. So host with a much slower response rate, 89 and below, witness a significant fewer impressions than the ones that respond quicker. 90 to 99%, right? However, a leap from 99% to 100%, we don't really show much of an improvement in the impressions at all. So we don't see much of a change in response rates impressions on that part. Now this one kind of blew my mind, crazy to think, but first page impressions don't really seem to matter by fast response rate. From the data that we can find, contrary to what everyone is expecting, the data says differently. First page, search rank based on response rate. The findings suggest that while Airbnb doesn't heavily weigh those response rates for the search rank, other factors may be in place. So that one's a little harder, but it doesn't seem like there's a huge sway. Again, I gotta read some of these because even I'm learning. This is crazy. So click rate only saw an increase from properties moving from the unperforming category. So 90% rate group, right? Surprisingly though, exceeded a 90% response rate, did not further improve click rates, possibly because the response rates aren't visible in the search. Pretty interesting, okay? Conversion, this is what it's all about. This is why you do all the steps. So conversion rate, properties in the lowest bracket, so 89 below, converted at a 0.5%, while response rates between 90-99%, 0.8%. Okay, so that's a big leap. A perfect response rate enjoyed a full 1% in conversion. So response rates definitely matter when it comes to converting those bookings.